Vamos a saludarle, David Schwartz. Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, what is your assessment of this first year of Donald Trump's second term?
Well, it's a mixed bag, and just a preference. I'm not on one side or the other. I'm a complete independent. Look, Trump, he's implemented some policies which actually work. We had a flood of people coming over the border, and he has now stopped that flood of people, which the majority of the American people agree with, that we believe in immigration, but it's got to be legal immigration. He's also, through ICE, which is one of his most controversial policies, he announced that he's going to start deporting people that are here illegally, starting with those that have committed crimes in other countries or have committed crimes here. So although he's done that, he's also deporting people that have been here for many years. And this is the more controversial part of the ICE crackdown. He's deporting people that they may be here illegally, but they have not committed any crimes, and they've been here for a number of years, and they've started families, and they have careers. I think most people agree that there should be some pathway to citizenship for those people. So that's very controversial, and obviously the way ICE is going about their business is controversial. So that's going to be, and look, Trump, his biggest problem is he's not bringing people together. He's not bringing both parties together, which is what the president should be doing, because obviously for the immigration problem here in the United States, there is a happy medium. So that's certainly one aspect of his job. Certainly his foreign policy, he has spent a lot of political capital, his own political capital, in trying to create peace all over the world in the Middle East. That war is at least temporarily stopped. The Ukraine, he certainly has tried to stop that war, and he, I think eventually he will be successful with the amount of death that is going on in the Ukraine-Russia war. The tariffs obviously are very controversial, but if his policy is America first, then he's trying to bring manufacturing and jobs back to the United States. So those are just some areas. His Greenland policy, almost nobody agrees with it. So I'm not too sure where he's going there, as opposed to Venezuela, where he was able to surgically remove the horrible dictator in that country and to free that country. And I think most people would agree with what he did there.
Would you say he acts like he owns the world because he can?
I'm sorry, he likes.
Would you say Donald Trump acts like he owns the world because he can?
Well, no, he clearly doesn't own the world, right? So we all know that. And, I think most people agree, Republicans and Democrats, that he goes too far, that he just pushes the envelope too far. And we would like to see, I think most people would want to see more diplomacy. He's certainly capable of that. So we see, various Donald Trumps. Some, part of what he's doing is good for the world and good for the United States. And then he pushes the envelope. And I think most people don't agree with the fact that he doesn't act presidential. And that's part of his allure, right? Part of the reason why he got elected is the American voters were sick of politics as usual. We didn't want another cookie cutter politician leading the United States of America. And so his unorthodox policies and the way he conducts himself is certainly works in some areas, but doesn't work in other areas. I think most people would want to see a more empathetic president, a president that will work with both sides, because he has a lot of policies where he can bring both sides together, especially immigration. There is a solution to the immigration problem. He could have his cake and eat it too. Unfortunately, he passes up too many opportunities, both in the United States and on the world stage, to have his cake and eat it too. And so that's the unfortunate part about Trump. But I think people can grasp on to some of his policies that are working, especially the protection of Israel in the Middle East, and his policies there, I think, have been very good.
David, what are the most substantial differences compared to his first term?
Oh, compared to his first term, he didn't know how to be president. So he allowed the bureaucracy, he allowed the institution to overtake him at times, especially in the beginning, where he deferred to the Republican Party, he deferred to the experts. I think now you're seeing a Trump that knows the ins and outs of the presidency itself. He knows what he could get away with. In fact, his 450 executive orders are an example of that, where he is trying to govern this country, for better or for worse, through executive orders. That certainly bypasses a lot of the democratic institutions that we have set up in this country. But on the other hand, in order to get things done, he's trying to get things done. One of the ways he's trying to do that is through executive orders. He's just doing it in a much more powerful way than presidents before him. He has a PR problem, with half this country. And it's unfortunate, because if he would just make some adjustments in the way he governs, he wouldn't have such a PR problem. For example, Barack Obama, cracked down on illegal immigration, and he deported many people, thousands and thousands of people. He deported more than Donald Trump has so far. So that's an example, but somehow Barack Obama was able to do the deportations in a way where he articulated why he was doing it, and it made sense to most people why he was doing it. When Trump does it, it's more of an iron fist. It's more of, this is what's going to happen. This is what we're doing. We're going to send people into neighborhoods. I think the ICE is not the enemy of the United States. ICE is a federal agency tasked with the job of deporting illegal aliens. So I just think the way they go about their business is a little harsh, and maybe they could do it in a way where the public relations and working with neighborhood groups and working with these different neighborhoods, especially to get rid of criminal elements, there's a pathway forward, but they've burned a lot of bridges.
Donald Trump's threats to seize Greenland have deepened the divide. Where do you think this episode is headed, David? Will there be tariffs, negotiations, annexation?
I think that I find it hard to believe there's going to be any military action in Greenland and annexation. I do believe there could be a deal. There could be a negotiation. There is a method to his madness sometimes. Again, he has very little support, both in Republican and Democratic circles, for taking a hard stance against Greenland. Now, it has lots of benefits, and he doesn't want to see Greenland being controlled by Russia and China, where Russia and China have controlled other countries. We're seeing in Africa right now, China is controlling. China is the key player in some of those countries. So Donald Trump sees that. It's just the way he's going about it is, from a PR standpoint, is a disaster. And it's a disaster not only for him, but for the Republican Party. If he keeps this up, the Republicans are going to get shellacked in the midterms. And I say this from a very independent voice. I am a centrist, and so I'm not a member of either party, because I think both parties have gone off the deep end at some points in time. But I think we need to create a centrist movement in the United States where 80% of us are either center left or center right, and bring people together. And his policy on Greenland right now just doesn't make any logical sense the way they're going about it. Negotiation is the way to go about it. And I think at the end of the day, there's going to be a compact. Like we have a compact, like the United States has compact with other countries, I think we will have a compact with Greenland where we could, certainly conduct certain military activities and certain mineral type of activities and in conjunction with Greenland. And certainly, I believe there's going to be a deal there.
Finally, David, Venezuela, tariffs, Greenland, ICE, Ukraine. What is the biggest challenge of this second Trump's term?
Well, certainly Venezuela, he has turned that situation around pretty easily. Tariffs, he's invoking tariffs. There will be deals with every single country. And I think the tariffs, at the end of the day, he will see some success in getting business and manufacturing back to the United States and getting jobs back to the United States. So Greenland, I believe, is going to be deal. So I think the toughest one out of those is Russia, Ukraine. There doesn't seem to be an end to the bloodshed, and Trump, if he's going to show empathy, he has shown it in this situation. He's articulated that too many people have died and there needs to be an end to this. And he's very frustrated that he hasn't been able to end this war. So I think that's the biggest challenge. And I think at the end of the day, he will be successful in ending that war.
David Schwartz, thank you for coming to Negocios TV.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.